Right now.
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 Because it's time to write now. We are live. Welcome to our Relay 13. I was like, for sure, 13 of the Storytellers Hearth Weekend Relay event. I am so stoked to be joined by other writers in our community, some writers in the WriteNow community, and the wonderful ringleader of this amazing event, Sam. So we're going to get into it. If you are new here, by the way, welcome to the stream. This is a weekend seasonal writing event where writers have come together, joined in, gotten a lot of writing sprints, a lot of writers chat, and all of the stuff. We're going to let Sam introduce it because I'm sure it's been super cool and there's been a lot of great things. But first, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kaufman. I'm on a mission to help the writers with the writing process. So today, we're going to get in some writing shenanigans, whatever's on our mind, and let's get in some writing sprints, and hopefully we can make some progress on our stories. So that's what we got. I see a couple of you guys in the chat, and yeah, let's do it. I'll let each of you guys queue yourselves up. Courtney, I'll kick it over to you first.
Hi everybody, I'm Courtney Harding. I'm a contemporary romance writer. I have a debut novel, Falling for a Storm, that just ended its free promo, so yay.
Woo! Yay, so exciting. So glad to have you join, Courtney. And Nell, pass it over to you.
Hey everybody, yeah, I'm a new writer and I started with short stories and met this community right now. So I've worked with Jared and Courtney a lot on ChatSol and improving my writing, so it just feels like part of our group.
Yay. No, really glad to have you join us, my friend. And so I'll kick it over to you.
Okay, sorry about that. I just had to leave for a second. I'm ChatSol, usually writing fan fictions, and lately been working on a D&D game.
Yay. So I'm curious to see how the D&D game is coming along.
Almost done.
Yay. All right, Sam, I'll push it over to you.
Hey, I'm writing mom, Samantha L Nasset, and on my channel I talk about writer things, parent things, and writer-parent things. I stream on Mondays and Wednesdays. Tomorrow we're doing book talk where we discuss, or CB Friends and I discuss books that one of us enjoys and the other one has never read before. On Wednesdays, she and I switch between streaming Whip Wednesday, where we just work dedicatedly on our current projects, and I co-organize this whole shebang, the Storytellers Hearth Weekend Relay, which is a twice-a-year writing community event where we focus on supporting each other, helping each other get things done, writing life related, even if it's not writing specifically, because sometimes it's easy to forget that being a writer is a lot more than just getting words onto the page.
What? Being a writer is more than just getting words on page? What are you talking
I
about?
know. What?
We have to do other things like editing and book covers and social media and promoting and networking and marketing and all the things.
Yeah, and not just that, like also our laundry and dishes and our...
That stuff can just pile up over there. The only thing that matters is the characters.
No, don't let it pile up, because then it gets too much.
It just gets too much. And then we have the characters yelling at us, go do your chores. Or the
Yeah, make your characters do laundry. It will make you do laundry.
Actually, no, what's worse is half your characters are telling you go do your adult stuff, and the other half are like, please finish your story.
Oh man, I bet you in like 30, 40 years, people will have all those like personal robot assistants to do all the chores for them.
Oh, that would be so lovely.
As a stay-at-home mom with chronic migraines, I'd love a robot to do my...
I'm telling you, like, I think that is the future. It's really crazy, especially with how people respond to AI these days. But, like, if there's one thing that we've seen, people want things to be easier and faster. And a personal robot that does all your chores for you is something that most people will probably hop on too.
They can do my chores. They can't write my book though. I don't trust
No.
them to write.
Oh yeah, I agree
I know
with
that's
you.
the thing. I'm like, I feel like I can write the best book for my Scarecrow stuff ever. I don't think a robot can write it better than I.
Yeah. Let the robot do all the adulting things so I have more time to write.
Exactly. hmm So, Sam, how's the Storytellers Hearth weekend gone? By the way, Ava, welcome, my friend. Glad to see you here. CB, you said I am interested in D&D. Cool.
You got real
we'll
mummy
leave y'all up.
Your mic went out again. Your mic did that finicky thing.
My mic.
Yeah, but it came back, so you're good now.
Interesting. Okay. Thanks for the heads up. Definitely let me know if you can't hear me. Sam, it looks like Nil, we couldn't hear you for a second. So, audience, just let us know if you cannot hear us at all, and we'll blame Evie Mux for it. Hey, what's
Or
up,
tech
Morgan?
gremlins.
I know, tech gremlins. And White's here. Good to see you, my friends. Sam, how is the Storytellers Hearth weekend gone for y'all so far?
For me, it's going pretty good. I've gotten like most of my goals done. I
Mhm.
might not reach my last goal because I remember I need to make the feedback form for the event, so I'll be doing that first. Excuse me.
Yes.
And from what I have heard in chat, it's been going pretty good for everybody. A lot of people
Mhm.
have like a lot of life stuff that was also planned this weekend, so they haven't
Mhm.
been able to be as active as they wanted. But
Mhm.
generally, that's always how it goes for some of us. So we just, I'm just happy and appreciative of whenever they do pop into chat, and I am glad to see that while they are there, they enjoy what they attend. So
So a lot of like productivity.
yeah, and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people got bingos on their bingo cards, which I'm jealous
Ooh,
of because I don't think I'll
bingo
make a bingo.
cards.
I got so many things marked off on the bingo card. It's just
Mhm.
the placement of such just did not align in my favor.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
nice.
that is so cool. I know you guys have been doing the bingo card with it throughout, right?
Mhm.
Yes. Oh, I was looking at it. I was like, I think we actually used I think we used the same generator for the WriteNow-a-thon, actually. I think we used the same one.
I have to update the prompts and that poor thing has been so neglected. I've got to update it. There are some prompts in there. Now, like on my bingo card, I've got like a 3 question mark, and I'm like, I no longer remember what that was in reference to. So
Maybe we'll just make like a really spoofy bingo card for the community. Be like, all right, how many dragons did you put in your story? How many times have your characters yelled at you to write a scene? How many times have you been shamed into writing?
That's never going to end, is it?
Not calling you out at all.
It's all about the rule of threes.
Oh yes, also, so my husband is finally aware, apparently he wasn't, that he shamed me into finishing my book, and the first thing he does is like, wait, I shamed you into finishing? I am so sorry! And I'm just like, dude, you did a good thing!
ChatSol, you never need motivation, though. You're bumping out those words on page so quickly.
I know.
Was
Of like
that
everybody
a
in the
day for
community.
you, or,
Hey, before that, though, I was not writing.
Oh.
I was just halfway working on a story, and then he shamed me, and it's like, nope, I'm gonna be writing, and I have to do this.
Yeah, I think of every writer that I've still like met on this journey, so I still don't think anyone compares to you and your high word counts.
Seriously?
Yeah, I was like, Sam, like, you wouldn't believe it. Like, every single writing sprint, every single writer's group. So it was like, we do a writing sprint, and we're all like, yeah, we got a couple hundred words. And so it was like, yeah, I've done like a couple thousand. Like,
Seriously, in a 25-minute sprint, I usually average about 1,000.
It was like, I got my 200 to 300.
that used to be me back in my heyday. Now I got to work back up to it.
I've only beat her once, or I've only beat Soul once in a writing sprint. She was having an off night, and I was writing a smut scene. So that was my gold star right there. That was the only way I was beating.
It somehow becomes an achievement to beat ChatSol with writing.
Yeah.
Well,
ChatSol,
don't
have
use
you
that
been,
because it's not going to happen again.
No, it's not.
Have you been Game Master long, ChatSol? You said you're doing a campaign? You're doing a campaign, you said?
Yes, I'm working on a D&D game based off One Piece. I've actually been wanting to get back into D&D for a good while, and well, since I'm so into One Piece, I thought, well, why not combine them? And at this point, I'm actually just finishing up the items and starting to work on the first campaign. But I have to admit, it is a little tricky because One Piece, there's a chance it could actually end up being player versus player rather than player versus NPCs. So I have to figure out, okay, well, if I have like everyone be a pirate, okay, that's going to work out just fine. But what if I have like 3 pirates and 2 marines or something? I have to figure out exactly how they're going to interact. Well, the players are talking, but the characters are not aware of each other, so that's gonna be fun.
I feel like it's such a journey to undergo a campaign, not just like doing a campaign, but creating an entire campaign and doing all the logistics. I can only imagine how difficult and how complex that is.
I have spent 2 years creating a campaign that actually turned into an entire world that is actually turning into a lit RPG book that I'm writing, that I started to write.
Ooh,
I'm not
that's
going to tell
exciting.
you how much brain power I put into that because it just hurts thinking about it. It's fun though.
You know, D&D is one of those games I've always wanted to try, but never had the right group or time to do it. Have all you guys played D&D before?
Yes.
No. Okay,
I'm
looks
not
like Neil, you and me are the odd ones
I'm a
out.
second
Yeah.
generation dungeon. I'm a second generation role player, so
Second gen. What is a second generation role player?
my dad and my uncles all played.
Okay. That makes sense.
I'm also
Yeah.
a third generation gamer in general. My grandmother played Mario, and my mom, Donkey Kong, Diablo, and Kingdom Hearts are her jams.
Oh my god, I love all those games.
And my dad is also a really huge gamer, so is a lot of my
Mhm.
uncles. But yeah, so like to this day, me and the kids went over and we played Mario Party with my mom and my grandma, which is their great grandmother. So
Which is so crazy. And by the way, because like I feel like we have definitely a number of gamers in the community. If you're watching this live or on the replay, are you a gamer? If so, what type? Drop a comment. I would love to hear. Because I know when we think about gaming, there's so many different elements, right? Are you video games, tabletop? With tabletop, you have things like D&D. You have the pieces. You have card games, trading card games. Board games are so complex. There's such like there's so many different types of gaming. There's LARPing is an interesting thing where it's in person. There's so many different subsets of what it means to be a gamer in this day and age.
I've dabbled in the majority of them, I believe.
Same.
Also,
Same.
I just started a gaming channel. It's called Sam Gone Rogue because I decided
That's a
to go
good
rogue.
name.
It's linked in my link tree down below if anybody wants to watch me start. I'm starting out with Fields of Mystria. I'm going to be ranching and romancing, but I will also be doing a second series alongside that as soon as my son decides what horror game he wants to see me play.
That's cool. You said a horror game?
Yeah, see, his dad's really entertaining when we watch him play it because my husband I don't know, he goes full on just immersed in the game, so he gets jump scared and creeped out and everything, and it's wonderful to watch him. And I am deeply afraid that I'm going to disappoint my son so hard because I'm not animated when, like, if I get jump scared or something, I more just sort of like go, like I don't really show it. So I'm like, I have to see if I can make myself more animated to be entertaining to play a horror game. But
It's always interesting with
it's a
that.
good exercise.
I'm sorry, say again?
If nothing else, it's a good exercise in acting.
I suppose. I just don't want to be too like phony with it. So
It's interesting with the game streaming with that niche. It feels like viewers expect game streamers to have kind of like a unique persona, while being able to game and simultaneously interact with them at all times. It's an interesting thing. I was like, if I had the time, I would stream games. It's like that would be so much fun. but I have other priorities and a book to finish.
And you wouldn't write as much then, Kaufman.
Exactly, right. Then I wouldn't be writing. That's always the thing. There's like other hobbies I enjoy, but there's one that speaks to my soul.
Yeah,
Um,
I started mine because so I have chronic illnesses and
mhm,
I've got something going on. It's hard to motivate myself to get out of my room, but I've got this like office desk area.
mhm,
And so I was like, okay, if I start because I got like so hooked in Fields of Mystria. I've like logged over
mhm,
100 hours in it already. I've been playing it
Nice.
for less than a couple weeks. So I was like, okay, which I want a disclaimer. I play it at the end of the night after I've done everything else that I need to
okay.
do. It's just sort of like an unwinding before bed thing.
That's good. You do all this stuff. It's like you do the vegetables first and then the fun stuff.
Yeah, and I also listen to audiobooks while I play it, so like I get my reading in while I relax. And but I was like, okay, so if I set it up so that I'm like, all right, I'll go stream my Let's Play for like an hour or so, and then I stop and I work on my novel. I'm like, the game motivates me to get up and out of bed. And then once I'm
Hmm.
up and out of bed, it also gives me time for like my nausea meds and everything to kick in. And
Hmm.
then I'm like, okay, now I can work and I can focus. And I'm in
Hmm.
here, which I prefer doing my writing and critiquing in here because I like this keyboard a
Hmm.
lot better for it over my laptop keyboard.
Hmm. Yeah, and I can definitely see we have a number of gamers in the chat too. I know White's here with D&D, Lynn, definitely a gamer, Pokemon Go, and tabletop mostly these days. I was like, I feel like everyone's played some version of Pokemon, at like some way, shape, or form. I was talking about this with someone the other day, and I was like, it's crazy how the Pokemon company has continued to stay relevant as a brand. I feel like everybody knows what Pokemon is, whether or not they played it or not.
Yeah, they actually just made a comment. It was either
Hmm.
yesterday or the day before. They're thinking of making Pokemon go all the way to have 10,000 different Pokemon. And I'm just sitting there just like, that is way too many. I love Pokemon, but that is way too many.
Then you can just forever try to catch them all.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Plus, also, some of their designs do tend to be a little, crappy. So I think they're going to actually have to start paying attention to Fakemon and like fan designs and stuff for once,
Hmm.
and maybe not get butthurt that sometimes the players make better ones than they do.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Well, gaming's always fun. I'm kind of curious. Does anyone feel like their writing is or their storytelling is ever inspired by games or inspired by the games they play? I know Solo definitely with you and all of your fan fiction.
Oh, definitely that.
I realized that I'm sure like certain elements of my storytelling and world building are probably influenced by games, game culture, or probably like TV, movies, things that I've seen before. I always ask myself if I see like an idea or a concept, I'm like, how can I write it better, or how can I do like a better version or a better like story arc for it? So I do that. Tend to do that a lot. Mm.
For me, like 100%, the media that we take in, no matter what form we take in, always
Mhm.
affects us in our whether it's in our conscious or our subconscious and stuff. And for
Mhm.
me, it's like fascinating to go back and review the media that I indulged in, like as a teenager.
Mhm.
Like I recently reread In the Forest of the Night by Amelia Atwater Rhodes, and like
Mhm.
as I was reading it, I was just going, you can see so much of the foundation of my paranormal writing in like yes, this it does matter what we read and what we watch and everything, which is also why like some of my most common writing advice that I give to people is just like read more, watch more, and especially for the genre that you want to write in.
That's an interesting one. Do you guys think, and I think we've talked about this once or twice before, do you guys think to be successful writers that we need to read in our genre?
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
At
Very,
least enough
very.
to understand what exactly you're trying to go for.
Hmm. Do you guys think it's important that we're reading what's best selling or what's current within our genre? as compared to, okay, books that are classics 10, 15 years. As a fantasy author, I'm like, okay, well, I read Lord of the Rings. Does that count?
I mean, I
I
only
don't
read
think that
novels,
matters as
so-
much.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
so.
it's just whatever because like
Mhm.
it's how you want to write it and stuff. I think for research purposes and everything, if you want to read a lot of the stuff that's mainstream, it lets like there's pros to both of it because reading what's mainstream or what's popular and current lets you know what the current market is like, but like and also reading the classics and the originals and stuff lets you see the foundation of the genre and how like things have changed over time, like especially styles, voice, the tropes that are more common now, less common then. But ultimately, it's you should just read stories like the ones that you want to write,
Mhm.
and because that's the most important. Like whatever stories you do read, just know what you liked about that story, what you didn't like about that story, what you liked about that style, what you didn't like about that style. And that way, that can help you improve in your own style, in your own voice, in your own writing.
Yes.
Yeah, when I get stuck on an idea on like what to write, I will like read a story and then like I think about it like how would I write this story different? And then I go read another story and then I think about like how would I write this story? And then I end up reading an entire series because I just divulge books like they're going out of style. And then by the end of it, I have an idea of this story that has nothing to do with any of the 20 books I read, but it's all what I would have done differently in each one.
Mm-hmm. I actually paid attention when I really first got into writing years ago. I started paying attention to the Warrior series because that's what I was obsessed with at the time. And when I went back and read it years later when I restarted Pirates, I actually noticed my writing style followed Aaron Hunter pretty closely for quite a few stories. And then I'm like, okay, so that definitely influenced it. And then I read a couple things that I had been reading when I got into the Bloody Jack series resembled L.A. Meyer. And then I read then I went through and started rereading the fan fictions I had started writing a couple years ago. And it's like, oh, I definitely took inspiration from that style and I developed it on my own. I just kind of took the best bits and pieces and improved on those.
My mainstreaming cohort, who is also one of my critique partners, she's been working on this a queer dragon romance fantasy, and I've also read other of her stories. We do a book talk, and she's for her picks for that. She's been picking like books that she read when she was younger, and like I've read a couple of them, and I was like, I don't at all see where you got some of the things that you like. I'm seeing a pattern form, and she's like, what? So that's one of the things I also like about sharing stories and books that I've enjoyed or that I read with my friends and stuff, especially my writer friends, because we all get to kind of see like what our influences were and everything, and I just think it's really fun.
Any books that any of y'all have either read or listened to as of late or this past year that have been memorable to you?
Oh, where shall I start? Would somebody else like to go first? I have a list.
Not exactly books per se, but I've been reading a lot of fan fiction in the past year. And so, I mean, that's not, just one author, that's hundreds even. And I actually did notice around the end of the year that some of my writing was actually growing more complex. I was adding in more details that I didn't have the year before. And I was actually starting to resemble some of the fan fictions I've been reading because it's like, okay, not that my fan fictions were bare before, but now they have even more depth to them. And I hadn't really noticed that until I started rereading. It's like, oh, that is actually really cool. I did not notice that.
Yeah, that subconscious influence, internalizing it. That's great.
I felt like it was also really noticeable because I wasn't reading just one author too. I mean, I think there were maybe like 3 or 4 specific people that were posting that I was reading from, but for the most part, it was like a different person almost every story. So it wasn't. So I think it was a little more noticeable just because of that, compared to if I just read, like 2 authors the entire year.
Yeah, I think it gives more perspective, right? Because then you see more writing styles. And as authors, I mean, maybe this is probably a writer thing. When we're reading others, of course, we're enjoying it for what it is. But at the back of our heads, we're like, okay, well, I'm thinking of my own writing. And how can I improve, or what things can I change? I feel like that's something I always do when I read stuff.
You know, I actually noticed that with myself when I restarted Pirates. I always just loved reading just for the sake of reading. But when Mason shamed me into finishing my book, I'm just sitting there like, okay, well, I'm having a difficult day. I'm just gonna go read something, and suddenly I noticed I wasn't just noticing the characters for once and what they were doing. I was actually noticing, wait a minute, there's a comma there I didn't notice before. Wait, why do they have this as dialogue and not thought? I actually started paying attention to that more, and it's like, oh, wait a minute. Am I actually paying attention to how it's written? That is so freaking cool. And so then I actually did it on purpose, and it's like it opened up like a million doors for me, personally. Not to mention, I have a writer friend who her voice still echoes in my head every time I feel like I'm going to put a comma in a wrong place. She's like, a comma does not go there. It's like every time.
It's funny. I didn't start looking at books for style until the past couple years. I feel like growing up, whenever I was reading, I was always comparing it to plotting and world building. I'm like, okay, why does this side character do this? How does it connect? How's it foreshadowed in chapters 1 through 5? And trying to like piece it all together, and was it effective and intentional when I hit the climax? Especially with long series, I loved that so much.
It's also interesting to see what kind of changes there were between books too sometimes.
Yeah,
especially if there's like any kind of significant time gap.
That's why I always ask them, like, sometimes do the subgenre of a series change as they evolve? It's like something I always ask myself.
Oh, that can 100% be a thing. Also, the age category for certain series that like start out middle grade, it's extremely common for them to become YA by like their 5th books as the characters age. As for books that I've read this year that I've really enjoyed, I read the Accomplice to the Villain series, which was
a popular series.
It's such a fun, campy series. I absolutely adore it. I think book 4 is either coming out or will come out. It also, the character arc of the main character is sort of foreshadowed in the titles of the series, and that was fun.
If I recall, that series, that is fantasy or romantasy?
Fairy tale inspired fantasy.
No,
I would say fairy tale, like a fairy tale retelling inspired kind of thing.
Okay.
It might be, for marketing purposes, they might put it in the romantasy section though, because it would definitely fit in that. And all genres are is really just a marketing tool. So.
Yes, a way for readers to be able to distinguish what books that they want to consume.
So that writers can find the intended readers, and readers can find what they prefer reading. Which is also why, like, very interesting that like the definitions of low and high fantasy have like swapped over the years because of people's perceptions of what high and low fantasy means. Like a lot of people, if you say high fantasy, they think like Lord of the Rings-esque fantasy, but Tolkien himself argued that Lord of the Rings was low fantasy because Middle Earth is supposed to be Earth. And back when those genres were established, high fantasy, the difference was high fantasy took place somewhere that wasn't Earth, and low fantasy took place on Earth, just an altered Earth or an alternative Earth. So, but now when you say high fantasy, people think epic fantasy. So even though it doesn't actually, because the definitions themselves have not changed, just the perception of the definitions. So now when people market high fantasy, everybody expects something more like an epic fantasy, or for the fantastical elements to be like very intrusive or very like there and in your face.
I'd agree with that. And I think that's also because there's so much more on the market and so much available, right? Readers have read so much more. So there's so many different more variations and types of that scale of fantasy.
Yes.
What about the rest of you guys? Any good books? I like Sam and Courtney. You guys both like. I gotta pull up the list of all the TV or of all the books from this past year.
I do. Well, I read 16 in January, 12, and then at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 so far in March.
Dang, I'm just happy to get through a single series.
Robin's like, I need chapters done as fast as you guys are getting books done.
It's audiobooks. I put them on ×2, and then I do the things that I need to do, driving, laundry.
I say that all the
Relaxing.
time. That's how I have, like, I think I'm at 68 books so far this year. So,
Nice. I just read Carmilla, which it's one of those things where like I'm such a big paranormal and horror fan, but I recently, like last year, realized that most of my horror stuff, like my horror fandom, is mostly from like movies and TV and stuff. And I was like, oh, I actually want to read more horror books, so I want to read more of the classics and stuff. And I read Dracula last year, and then I was like, and now Camilla. So.
nice.
Well, I think we definitely have some fun ones, definitely some fun books around here, and it sounds like you guys have definitely gone through a lot. I was just happy to go through Stormlight Archives, and I'm like, all right, my one series. I'll go like one book a month at the rate I'm going. But I'm just happy to be able to get back into the reading/listening vibe personally. I'm like, yes, I feel successful. For so many years, I was going through nonfiction books. So it was nice. It was like refreshing for me to be able to kind of segue back into fiction once more. Yeah. Awesome. And on that note, we're hitting the 30-minute mark. So let's pause this conversation and get some writing in. All right. So while I cue this up, welcome to the stream. If you're just hopping in, we're in the middle of our Storytellers Hearth Weekend Relay. We're just getting some writing shenanigan nonsense in. We're going to get a sprint right now. But if you're enjoying the stream, tap that like button. Help us show the algorithm that writing streams are cool. And make sure to go down into the YouTube description and check out all the links for everybody. Go find out all the stuff. And we're going to go straight into a 30-minute writing sprint. All right. Oh, maybe it'll. Let's see, possibly. All right, bear with me just a second. I was like, for some reason, I thought I had this set up before. All right. And perfect. All right, so it looks like we got this, and making sure y'all can see. All right, perfect. So we have our writing sprint. I have it all set up for y'all, and let's do it. So we're gonna do 30 minutes on the clock. We're going to try to get in some words, whether you're writing, editing, revising, brainstorming, or you're just hanging out. Come join us because it's time to write now. All right, and that is a writing sprint. Wonderful. How did that treat y'all? Were you guys able to get any words that time? Hopefully, you got some ideas, some words, some concepts, a new book, something else in between. Drop a comment. We would love to hear. How did the writing sprint treat y'all?
I got my basic feedback form done. I'm having my friend he works in marketing, so he's going over it and helping me improve the questions and everything. And while I wait for his responses, I'm also critiquing his chapter. So.
Ooh, that's exciting. Doing chapter critiques are always quite exciting. I do like doing those on occasion. How about the rest of you guys?
I think I do more critiquing. I said I think I do more critiquing than I do writing lately because mom life.
Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, there's always so many writers who need help. I try to find that balance with doing the critique streams periodically.
No, it's always the same one. It's just my alpha critique partner Fox. If I could write manuscripts as fast as he could.
If I could pump out words as fast as ChatSol can.
Not
You have
possible.
your own question, Sam, that you like to ask, or is it just a random form you use?
Oh, for my feedback form?
Yeah. What do you like to ask
Oh,
on
it's,
yours?
it's a feedback form for the Storytellers Hearth Weekend
Oh,
Relay. Just doing like a check-in to see how much people enjoyed the event. Asking some questions about what they may have liked or
okay.
not
I thought it
liked
was more
about the
about
event, ways we
your
can
writing
improve.
feedback.
Oh, I think he was asking about your critique, like what your like style was with critiquing.
Oh,
Mhm. I know you kind of because you were talking about the
Sorry, that was
feedback
my
form and then
mix-up. Yeah.
critiquing.
So you had a form
that's
for
okay.
how to get feedback, and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. Let me know about that. So,
Oh, no. My critique partner and I, we just send each other the documents and then do like critique comments in
Mhm.
the programs and stuff. And because he and I have been critiquing with each other, like when I critique for somebody else, I will be a little more like polite or diplomatic in some of my things. But he and I have been critiquing for each other for so
you
long
just
that
go to him
sometimes
straight, right?
Mhm.
some of our critiques are literally just you could do better. What the fuck is this?
Come on, man.
Do better.
You
Then you take it right back though,
so
so it's all good.
yeah, and then because our friendship works the way it does, we like read that and we're like, look here, motherfucker, but also you're right and I hate that. So I can do better. It
Yeah.
works out.
Sam, when you guys do critiques, do you ever go into it like asking each other questions, or is it just like here's the story, post your thoughts?
Oh, like yeah, because since he's my alpha critique partner, sometimes I'll send him a chapter and I'll be like, just tell me it's not shit, or hey, or it'll be like, hey, I wrote this, I just want you to read it. I am not ready for your feedback. I have not done a self revision. Don't tell me anything unless you see a typo. I will accept spelling corrections. And then so it's like, hey, what are you looking for me from this feedback? Or because I am more experienced and he's earlier in his writing journey, I'll be like, okay, for this round of critique, what are you looking for? And sometimes it'll be like, oh, just big story stuff. And then for the next round of critique, it's like we would like to. It's like we want to strengthen character voice and stuff, and I'm very good at that, so I can help out a lot with that and stuff. So it's yeah, and always I'm really big that if I have a critique partner, I need to be able to have a back and forth
Hmm.
without anybody getting defensive. I need to be able to be like, hey, you said that you like read this way. This is what I meant, and it's like because they need to understand my intention to help me achieve my intention. So it's like it's not me getting defensive. It's not me like fighting them or anything. It's just like, oh well, this is what I meant to write. So I see how you got that. Is it like I am confident enough in my writing that I never just assume my critique partner is always 100% right. But I am realistic enough to also always be like, I'm not automatically right either. So I want to have that conversation to figure out was this a misread on their part or a miswrite on my part? And like I had a critique partner. It's actually Stig Deardle from the Troublemakers. He lives in Norway. I live in America. And he critiqued one of my stories. And in the story, there's a little girl who's like hiding in an aisle of coffee. And he left a comment on that. And he was like, this is so unrealistic. He's like, how would she ever fit in the aisle? And I like went to our Walmart and I took a picture of our aisles. And I'm like, Stig, this is an American store. And he's like, oh, I guess she could fit in there. He's like, no, ours, she would never. And I'm like, okay, so that was like an instance of a
Cultural.
cultural difference.
Interesting.
So I need critique partners who are perfectly fine with having those conversations and back and forth because, nobody's ever 100% right or 100% wrong. And a critique partner, much like an editor and stuff, should be helping you write the story you want to tell, not necessarily the story they want to read or that they want to write. So,
Yeah, I think that's definitely really valuable. What I've learned after doing years of these critiques now, and then kind of seeing how other people do it, it feels like a lot of times when people are receiving feedback that they're like the inherent like our inherent thing is to defend our work. If something doesn't make sense, be like, okay, well, it doesn't make sense because of A, B, C, or D, right? But I think the thing to always keep in mind, and similar to what you were saying, is that once the book's out there with readers, we can't just pop into their screen and be like, well, this is why it doesn't make
Exactly.
sense, right? Can't just pop on their TV screen. Well, you know what? That's why that plot should make sense because of this, right? And I think being able to provide the feedback so the writer can understand, like, okay, this does or this doesn't make sense. And I mean, feedback's subjective. Feedback, it can be entirely subjective for the most part. I tend to say that developmental feedback is generally subjective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. How but for the rest of you guys, how'd the that sprint trio, were you guys able to make some progress?
I'm working on the next story of my therapy series. I was able to finish the other one the other night, which was awesome. And I just finished with I just finished with chapter 1, so I am working on chapter 2 already.
Excellent. Always pro mental health. Go talk to a therapist. And I'm saying this to everybody in general. At least one that works well for you. That is awesome. What about you guys, Mill, Courtney? Were you guys able to make any progress?
Yeah, I did like the perfect thing based on what we were talking. I read this short story I wanted to read. Somebody recommended it. It's called "There Will Come Soft Rains." It's 2,000 words by Ray Bradbury, and it involves a smart house. And we were talking about that, like the AI robots doing all their work for it, and that's like a pretty prominent theme. I didn't even know that was going to be in this, but it's an omniscient story set from the perspective of the house, and you learn like a big detail, like pretty early on, within 500 words. And I was wondering, like, okay, well, how are you going to keep the interest of the story? But it's interesting just because of just it's more about how the story is being told than, I guess, the plot or the reveal or the twist. I think that's what makes it engaging. So yeah, it was a pretty cool read, I thought. So I was glad I read that one.
That's interesting. No, I know you do a lot of you play around with a lot of different like narrative styles
Yeah.
and techniques. I'm curious, do all of you guys tend to write in third person POV, or what's your guys' preferred like POV that you tend to rely on?
I usually do third person, but I have dabbled in second person a few times, and it's once you get the hang of it, it's not that bad.
It's just different. I was thinking of choose your own adventure with second person.
Pretty much.
But I don't have the time to read novels, so for me, this is like the most I can read, as much as you guys, read a 2,000 word short story. So.
I know we're trying to catch up to Sam and Courtney over here,
Counts
the
as
100
something
books
for
a
me
day.
on my read list. So.
I decided I'm gonna rewrite Razor from the beginning.
Okay, you're
Well-
taking it through. You're taking the whole draft through a rewrite.
Yeah, I'm just rewriting it because it's
Okay.
been so long. It's been sitting, so I just have to restore it. So I'm restarting.
Okay. So then essentially, I mean, instead of a rewrite, I mean, essentially, weren't you doing like a zero draft approach or philosophy with Razor?
No, because like the zero draft, I do that with the flash fiction, and it's just like the whole story in sentences, and then I just go back and add and make it longer. And I don't think that would be possible with a novel. That would be too much. But like, I don't know. I'm kind of scrapping Razor, but keeping certain parts. So I'm like cutting and pasting Razor up.
What made you decide to rework the novel?
I let it sit for too long, so I just need to fresh eyes on it.
I feel it. That's definitely happened with me with a number of my projects in the past before, where I kind of moved away from them for too long, and then I came back and I'm like, well, this doesn't really make sense. But at the time, it made perfect sense.
Yeah, you've grown since then, and so now it needs to be updated. When I have some short stories and stuff, and I decided to post them on my website, but before I did that, I like wanted to send them through like the publishing process. So I had critique partners and beta readers, and then I hire an editor, and my editor is Danica, and I love her. And she'll always pick out the parts that I haven't really revised that much, and she'll be like, these parts can be improved, and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't think I really touched and it just kind of like, for me, it always shows how like I grew as an author and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, no, you're right, I can make this part better and improved here and there. So
Yeah. Recently just had that eye-opening experience. I was sharing Laughing in the Dark to someone. That's like the first thing I ever finished start to end, and I wrote it while I was writing my novel. And I was like, oh, if I wrote this today, it would look very different.
And I think that's always the thing. I think because we're always writing as an art form, we're always evolving, right? We're never going to be perfect, but we're always going to keep improving, keep adjusting our style. And I think the challenge that we all face as writers, the more you write, the more you improve, or at least you go in a different direction. And then when you look back on your stuff, like your first book, your earlier books, you can always improve it. You can always revise it. So then the question becomes, do I invest the time revising the thing and making it better, or working on something different and continuing to go in that direction? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I think it just depends on what your goals are.
well, I mean, like for me, if it's already published and done with, no, that is now a moment in time. That is how good I was at that time, and I still enjoy it. I read my writing from when I was 12, and I like, obviously it's written by a 12-year-old, but I still like the story and the characters. It's still fun. So I always look at it as that's a snapshot of my skills as a writer and my storytelling then. It's no worse now than it was at the time. I have just improved and can tell stories better, but that doesn't make like the first one I wrote lesser.
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting way to look at it, to view it as like a snapshot and recognizing that as like, okay, that's where I was at that point in time. Because I know a thing that writers will do sometimes after they've gone through like a number of books or a series, they will go back to their earlier works and revise them, because there's such a thing as second editions, third editions, or whatever, which is interesting. Yeah. I asked myself if I would go back to some of my like older works and revise or not, or whether it'd be a revision or a rewrite. I don't know. I'll be honest though, when I started this the writing sprint journey, I never thought that I'd be working on a book that was world full of animals and Alice in Wonderland type vibe for sure. I did not anticipate that. But the one thing that I knew is that I like a challenge. It's probably the gamer part of me. And I was like, okay, what is the most difficult type of world that I could create? And then am I able to write it well enough?
Yeah, like, okay. that could be fun. I used to participate in the New York City Midnight flash fiction and short story competitions, which is where it's where some, like, 2 of the stories I have planned to put. One is already up on my website, Until Pizza Do Us Part, and the next one will be on my website sometime this year, not for her. Those 2 were originally written for the contest, and so that's why I went back and I revised them, because I really liked them, and I was like, I could use this again. But I do think that, like you were saying, a lot of writers and artists, they look back on their old work and they're like embarrassed by it, or they cringe at it, or they're like, oh, I'm so much better now and that was terrible. And I think that's kind of being too mean to yourself. So it's like
I would agree with that.
Yeah, no, I like this snapshot of like baby author and then now, you know.
I mean, it's like looking at drawings you did when you were 5 and being like, oh my god, what did 5-year-old me? Oh, I thought a son had that. No, I'm like, you wouldn't do that to your 5-year-old self. Why would you?
Yeah, I'm always so proud that I was able to hang on to the first book I ever wrote, which was 7. I was like 6 or 7 years old. And I thought that I could embark on retelling the entire Super Mario franchise. So I embarked on writing a 20-part book series, and I wrote like 15 of them. But the way it was done is it was through this like publishing. There's this like self-publish your story kit. and it's basically like you write pictures, and there's like 4 or 5 lines to write a story, and then you send it to the company, and they send you back a hardbound book. And I was just like so proud of the first couple books I was able to get through, and my artwork was so entertaining that like because some of it didn't make sense, I made sure to write in the text or in the animation like this is their hair, back of character shot. It was really funny. Yeah, I think it's really interesting to see how far we continue to grow and how far we come and evolve as writers. Even as I've looked back on like this past couple years, I'm like, when I first started Scarecrow, I feel like I've grown so much as a writer from where I'm at right now and hopefully getting close to finishing it. I think that's the cool part of the journey, being able to kind of look at it in the different milestones as we progress.
How'd the spring go for you, Kaufman? Did you get some pages done? I know you got your 10-page goal, right?
10-page goal. Yes, 10-page goal. How's that coming along? Yes. So yep. I'm doing good. I'm getting through this chapter. For those of you who don't know, Scarecrow publishing date is aimed for July 5th, which is International Build a Scarecrow Day. The universe says that's the day, so that's the day it has to be published. But for me to hit the goal, because there's so much work that still needs to be done, I have to knock out about 10 pages worth of revisions per day to be able to have it, get the back end of the book through the beta readers, and then to be able to have it ready for an editor by May. So hopefully.
You guys are inspiring me to get my first completed big work done, so I can look back and have the same, cringe and all that stuff. But it feels good, right? Knowing it's done and you've improved, and I'm looking forward to that. I haven't gotten out a big project yet, so I look forward to that.
I know we're trying to catch up to the rest of y'all. I know Sol and Courtney, both of you with your published books out there. Sam, do you have a published book as well? I forgot.
Not anymore. I had published 2 books in my early 20s, but they were a rush job. I didn't hire an editor, and I was stubborn and pregnant, therefore hormonal about it. And when I looked back at them, like when I decided to make my author platform and start doing things, I looked back at them and I was like, if these had been the best I could do at the time, I would proudly be like, yeah, no, I published those in my early 20s. But I could not sincerely say that. So I was like, I don't want this to be the representation of my writing. And so instead, when I launched my platform, I launched my website with Until Pizza Do Us Part as the prime piece of writing that I could be like, hey, look, this is my writing style, this is my writing skill, so if you want to follow me and stick around for the journey, here you go. And now I have 2 up on my website, with the 3rd coming sometime this year. And so whenever I talk about my novel that I'm working on, I call it my re-debut, because I will be re-debuting.
Aw, that's really exciting, actually.
Which one did you pick of the 2?
I'm sorry, say again, Neil?
No, which one did you pick? You had 2 novels, you said?
Oh, it was book 1 and book 2 in a series, but I'm not. Those are not my new debut novel.
Oh, okay.
My new debut novel is a completely I cannot sincerely say completely different, because the first 2 were werewolves and this one's a were-jaguar. But it's a different story. So I'm currently. Well, right now, my author career is on the back burner, and I'm treating the writing and author platform as a hobby. Because what had happened was, in elementary school, my kids and I had gotten into a good routine where I had a solid 2-3 hours while they were all in school, and I could finish all the housework by that time. And then I could have 2-3 hours a day to just work on my writing and nothing else. And I was like, okay, cool. I can lock in and I can try to have my re-debut out in a couple of years, right? But then my older 2 transitioned to middle school, and it was actually a really rough transition for them. And my chronic migraines kind of like got worse, and now I think I'm perimenopausal, which is all kinds of fun. So I was like, okay, right now, like there are two things I wanted to do in life. I wanted to tell stories and be a mom. And one of those has a deadline, the other one does not. So I'm like, I will focus on my kids while they need me, and I will, if I publish before my youngest graduates high school, cool, awesome, love that for me. If I don't, it is no failing on my part. So, but my project, my novel project, is called Save Her Soul, and it is a sapphic paranormal romance about a were-jaguar who works in a like fighting pit arena, and then she meets like this upscale girl who falls into the arena and she saves her life, and now they're figuring out whether or not that fall was as accidental as she first thought, or if something else is going on. So
Sounds like a fun setup. It definitely
you.
sounds like a fun setup. I definitely have to commend you for continuing to push yourself along the journey, but not being too hard on yourself on the deadlines. So I mean, raising a family and raising kids, like that's its own job times 10 within itself.
And my three are so close in age. We had 3 under 3, so.
But on the bright side, then by the time they're older, that means they'll be able to take care of each other.
Oh, they do so now.
Like even better. All I can deal with is a cat who doesn't like people.
So how does the were-jaguar work? Same thing, just moonlight, or is there something different to it? Another twist?
Oh, no. So were creatures in general, because werewolves are actually only like a localized myth to England. In other places, it's other animals. And, I forgot the word for it. It might be the nautical. I'm having a brain fog moment. But in Central and South America, there were jaguar warriors they were people who could take on the spirit of a jaguar and shapeshift into that. So that's sort of part of the inspiration for it. But because of shifter mythology and stuff, I'm not going, for this particular one, I'm not going with the cursed shifters. It's more they're born shifters. So she has full control over whether she is a full human, full jaguar, or something in between.
Interesting, because I want to say cursed, Whiteseer said lycanthropy. I think the cursed lycanthropy, that's generally what's pretty popular. That is generally what's been mainstream for at least
Actually, werewolves. It's half and half, really.
You think so?
Well, I read a lot of paranormal romance. It's half and half.
It's cool that you based it on the cultural stuff, Sam. I was just reading about, I guess it's like Icelandic, and they have like women that turn to seals, but it's like they're called selkies. So it's like that's a pretty cool myth I never heard of before, and I don't know if they control it. I didn't look into it, but it sounds like something for your world.
I could be wrong, but I think the selkie is more native to Celtic areas, but the Germanic tribes are all like interconnected. When you get into the Scandinavian ones, when I think of the Scandinavian shifters, I think more of the berserker, who are werebears.
Okay.
Interesting.
You know a lot more.
I've done so much.
You're educating me on this one for sure.
Sorry, I'm very. I have a lot of interest, and shifter myths are. But I also.
It's cool.
I might be wrong on the silky thing, so I'm a fact check myself right now.
Is shifter romance really popular right now?
It's never not been popular.
Never not been.
Romance is the leading genre. It has been the leading genre for decades. And so shifter romance had their time in the spotlight, like as the leading one, about 15 years ago. And then right now, because I think of Bridgerton, historical romance is becoming more and more. And of course, romantasy is really big right now. So But yeah, shifter pop. It's never been unpopular per se, just not necessarily the top popular at the time.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Lynn Steven knows. Ooh, Were-Tiger.
Shifter was the most popular. Lynn was saying around 2008 to 2014.
I want to do the math and see if I was at all close.
Interesting.
Yeah, right in the middle, 2011. I said 15 years ago.
I know. I'm always much more familiar with my fantasy genre trends, but then romance and the other genres kind of could definitely do some more research on for sure. So I always find it really fascinating with where reader habits are and where they currently tend to be, which is really cool. But you're right, romance. Romance does generally tend to lead in fiction. It generally tends to be, lead romance, fantasy in terms of main, then sci-fi thrillers, kind of switch. Historical fiction kind of bounces around underneath them. But that's not taking like subgenres into account. That's just like predominant main genres.
So the fact check for me and Nil is that yes, Selkies are common to Scotland, Ireland, and Icelandic specifically mythology. So I'm more familiar with Nordic Scandinavian, like Norway. So we were both correct.
Yeah, well, it sounds like we all have to be building some shifters into our world. I may or may not have those in my world. We'll find out. Excellent. That means let's get in another writing sprint. So this time around, I feel even more motivated. For our second one, we're going to go longer. We're going to push for a longer sprint. We're going to get more words in. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to reach my daily goal, which means I believe the rest of you are as well. So I have it all set up here, almost. So we went 30 minutes last time. We're going to go 45 minutes this time. I believe in us. We're going to make a longer push, and we are going to get words on page. So if you're here with us, let's stay motivated. Let's do it. So whether you're writing, editing, revising, author branding, or something in between, come join us because it's time to write now. All right, and that is a writing sprint. How did that treat y'all? Hopefully we were able to make a little progress. Hopefully we were able to make a little push that time. Any luck on your guys' end? We'd love to hear. Drop a comment.
I have a question for the panel.
Sure.
How do you know when to just table an entire project and move on?
If it brings me more stress than joy to work on.
I might have
Writing.
accidentally done that.
Writing has always been a fun, joyful activity. I've always been excited no matter like what stage I'm in. Sometimes the, certain revisions and stuff, like I was literally just thinking the critique that I just wrote was one that I was like, oh, I'm having flashbacks to getting this critique from my editor, but like made me better, and now I'm a better critiquer, which is like, concern crossed his face, and I'm like, could we be more specific in how the concern looked? Like, what does facial features do and stuff? And like, that's what some of the things that my editors tell me, and I'm like, ooh, I can be more descriptive with that. So like, since it's always been a source of joy, whether I'm accepting critique or improving, when the project starts causing me stress, when it's like, oh, I start dreading working on it, then I'm like, no, I have to do something else or move on. And maybe with time and space away from it, I can come back to it and the stress no longer be there. Or be like, okay, and then also because I've been away from it for so long and, I've been working on other things and improving, then I come back and my subconscious has had time to work on it, because I'm a big proponent of your subconscious actually does most of the heavy lifting. So, that's had time to work on it. And also I'm better. So maybe I can tackle some of the issues or problems better now than I could previously. And so sometimes then going back to it, it's like, I'm not stressed anymore, and it's just a source of joy again. And then sometimes I just, forget that it ever exists, and years later I'm like, did I write that? Oh. I become Gandalf, and I'm like, I have no memory of this place. So, this sounds like my writing, but I'll remember these people.
Courtney, I think that is a really good question. I think I always like to look at the habits and understanding why we hit certain blocks. I think for the average writer, if they hit a point where they're consistently with projects, getting far into their projects, and then feeling unmotivated or losing hope, and then they never finish projects, I think there's a deeper root cause in the long term. I think for you, since I know like you've already published Falling and you've been very consistent, sometimes, like Sam said, right, sometimes you just need time. Sometimes you just have to step away from it for a time, and you need perspective. But other times, I think I would also ask, what is it about this project that's burning you out, or where you feel burnt out? And understanding, like, is it a motivation thing, or is it like a skill problem? Right? Motivation, I don't feel like writing. Skill, there's some type of structural issue or something that I feel is too grand. And unfortunately, what happens all the time that I see with newer writers is they get to these parts in their manuscript where they're limited by one or the other, and they stop writing. They stop working the project, and they just stop writing for days, weeks, months, years. And I'm not saying that's going to happen with you, but that's just what I see with a lot of writers. So what I always like to challenge is, if you understand what's holding you back, figuring out how to move forward in the project if you're able to, and figuring out what that consistency looks like.
Yeah, no, I was trying to do a brain drain to like just get back into Razor, and I ended up coming up with an entirely new series of novellas. And I'm just like, okay, maybe I just table Razor for a longer and just come back to it when I'm more into, because like now I'm like in the weeds of this new series. I'm like, okay, this was not my objective when I started this, but now I have a whole new book idea.
One of the ways, I'm largely self-taught, but one of the ways that I self-taught was to read author interviews. and especially I love it when I get like an audiobook or a book that has an author interview in the back and in the end, because they will, like, I've just read the book they're talking about, so I have all the context for what they're saying. And I do know that there are, I cannot think of their names right now, but there are quite a few authors who, like, one of their pieces of advice for projects and stuff is it's like, you're not going to publish every book you write. They're like, sometimes you write it and you just kind of have to accept that, like, you wrote that for you and it may never see the light of day, and that's not a bad thing. That's not a failing. That's just how it is. So sometimes we just gotta get a story out, well or not well, and then move on to what we're more passionate about, essentially. And that kind of sounds, I could be wrong, but that kind of sounds like where you're at with Razor.
Yeah, I feel like that's right. That's true.
I like that. I also think understanding your what your motivation, your goal is, as well, is very important, right? Because I think for a lot of writers, they'll think that, okay, well, my goal is to. A lot of time, their goal is just to write and enjoy the process, and then once they think through like the publishing side of it and the work, it starts feeling like work. I think there's a difference between I just want to write and grow as compared to I want to build a book to create a readership and make revenue. And I think understanding what your motivation is can help determine what the journey should look like.
Yeah. However, I do want to caveat it that, like, even if whether your motivation is hobby or professional publication, what I said would still apply, because, like I said, that like advice came from like established published authors in their field. So, like, definitely I agree with you. I pointed at the wrong way. Definitely I agree with you that, like, you have to, like, know yourself and understand yourself. Writing and publishing, it's all work. It's all work, and whether it's gonna, it's a job, and whether it's a job you're passionate about or something that you just decide that you want to do, and publishing, the editing, the revising, it's hard work, and you gotta have like a level of self-confidence and ego and be able to take it can be emotionally difficult, because
a lot of writers undervalue how much emotion and energy it takes to write a book. They think of like the technical process of the writing, but like the emotional energy, like it takes up a lot of energy to think through all the concepts, develop all the things, and then have the energy outside of whatever your lifestyle is to do it over years.
But also with that, the thing I wanted to caveat is to, like, just don't fall into the hole of absolutely everything I write has to be professionally published, or I have to prepare it to be for work. Writing it can be a job, but is also an art form, like you were saying earlier. Not every artist produces every sketch they've ever made. Like, artists have sketchbooks full of works in progress. They have sketchbooks full of, like, work studies or anatomy studies. I used to draw, and I had so many pages that were just hands, just practicing hands so I could get better at hands. And writing, I think a lot of people don't realize, or they undervalue the fact that writing is the same. You can write short stories, you can write flash fictions, you can even do like half of or most of a manuscript and it end up just being for practice, just for you. Like, and it's not wasted time, even if it doesn't become a finished product, because that's still writing that you did, and you can still learn something from that process. And that was actually Danica and I, my editor, when we were talking about my Not For Her editing, that's one of the conversations she and I had. And she said that she wishes more authors would take up short form fiction as a way to study different. She's like, they could use it to try out different styles, to try out different writing techniques, to try out different points of view and stuff without like a monumentous time commitment. So that's why Courtney had already sounded like a pretty established individual in her habits and her mentality and everything, which is why.
Yeah, no, I used Kaufman's contest for that. Like, I
I don't watch horror movies. I don't like being scared. I like the spooky aesthetic, but I don't like the spooky lifestyle. But
Fair enough.
I enter into Freaky Friday every year. Like apparently I can write a horror flash fiction. Don't Not anything past that, but a horror flash fiction. I can apparently write that. Like,
Junji Ito, the most prolific horror mangaka in Japan, is terrified of everything. And when asked, they're asked, well, how do you write such good horror? And he's like, I write what I'm afraid of. So.
Yeah, I completely agree with the short form storytelling. And I think then once it also goes back into intention again, right? So it's like if you're a type of writer where you work on long form projects and you struggle with finishing them, and like, hey, I need something to actually just practice my skill. I want to write and keep doing it. Short form is such a great way to go about it. Whether the short form is flash fiction, short story, or even novella, because it's a smaller time commitment and it allows you to practice, right? Like, and Nil, like, I know you do a lot of short form stuff as well. And I think being able to work on short form allows you to be intentional with skill building, right? You can practice a story concept or you can practice a new narrative technique with shorter storytelling without feeling like you're committed to this like 10-book series.
Yeah, one of the things that I host on my channel is called the Flash Fiction Free for All. It started as a ruse for a prank because CB was coming to visit me for the summer one year, and we decided to like do this like little prank on our regular co-host Matt and Cody. So we were like, oh, we're gonna do this writing competition, but then me and Fox, we don't half-ass things, and so, well, at least I try not to half-ass things. He definitely never half-asses things, and so we came up with like rules and stuff and a whole format, and then after we did it the first time, we were like, this is actually really fun, and we want to do it more. So now we just do it whenever we all have time. But like Fox, he comes up with the prompts, so it's 100%. None of us know, so nobody has the advantage. And then we let chat vote on one of the 4 prompts that we're going to write, and then we get an hour in total to write the flash fiction. And then I put them all in like Google Docs anonymously, and then chat gets to vote on which one they like the most.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah. And it's just,
I like
it's a fun
that. Do you usually get a lot of writers participating in that and like doing their own submissions?
Not usually. I have a very small channel. I have a very small reach, so, but it's fun for us. So.
I think that's really cool. I think that's such a cool idea. Being able to write flash fiction in real time. I love that idea and that concept. I think a lot of writers get put off by like, oh, I have to write this thing right now and do it with a time limit. But to me, I'm like, challenge accepted.
Oh, there's also a level of it like, and like we discussed it before we ever did the first one, but it's like, okay, everyone is going to see our 0 draft. Like this is our first draft. We barely have time to finish it sometimes. There's like no guaranteed time for revisions. And a lot of writers are all like, no, don't look. But we're just like, yeah, no, it's fine. Like, just don't judge us. It's the first draft. We're good.
Yeah, I almost think it's a different skill set, being able to force yourself to write a story in real time, as I well know, but being able to do it in a very like short period of time and trying to get a story, some type of pacing, some type of character development, especially in a shorter format, as compared to working on it draft by draft and revising it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a finished story by any means, but like it's complete but not polished. So, and yeah, it helps like I would say that it also helps develop the understanding of story structure in general, because you do have, like, it's under 1,000 words and you have to figure out how to tell your story in that limitation. And so you got to decide, are you dedicating more time to the ending or to the beginning? And like, also we have requirements, right? Because the prompts, like, there is a genre or a character, or okay, sometimes there's a genre. Sometimes the genre is you're a writer, you decide. And then sometimes there are hyper specific quotes, or there's objects, and the objects is just like, for example, Glimmerfang, and then it was like this magic sword found in this like forest or something, but it was like a 2-line description of it, and we all unanimously, without discussing with each other, used the full quote in our flash fiction, and that was fun. It's also because all of us are writing, and we don't know whose story is whose either when we go and we read it. And it's really interesting to see what the other writers, it's interesting to see what the other writers do with the prompt. Because like sometimes we will all like do really similar things. And it's like we all took it this way. And then sometimes we're like nobody took it the same way.
Yeah, you know, it was interesting. We did something very similar to that. Instead of writing specific prompts, I think this must have been in the first like year of the live streams. I did a lot of image. So we pulled up an image and then used the image as a prompt. That's a fascinating idea. Huh?
I said that's how we got Scarecrow, an image with no Scarecrow in it.
Sam, have I ever told you that for the book I'm working on? Literally the first day of streaming, I'm like, should I go back to my old project and start something new? I'm like, no, I'm just gonna do free writes. So I pull up this image, and it's like a sunset with like some field, and I'm like, I write a scene of a scarecrow and a crow stealing his hat. I'm like, yeah, this will be epic. And then it starts coming together, and then later on, like the more I look at it, because I've looked at it 1,000 times, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's a pole. I don't think that's a scarecrow.
He like zoomed in on it the day like he finished his draft, and he was like celebrating, which by all means celebrate that. But he like zoomed in. He's like, I'm pretty sure that's not a scarecrow.
Like, where did scarecrow come from? Oh man, okay.
Picture in the book.
What was that?
You got to include that picture in the book.
They have to find it on some like hidden text somewhere, and it'll be an Easter egg.
An Easter egg on the website, then you get more clicks on the website.
That's not a bad idea. I know something interesting I'm going to try for the book is try to include, I think for image-wise, probably include a number of maps. Makes it relevant to some of the storylines. One of the characters is a map maker, and I think including more fully drawn sketches the further they get through the book.
So like any like scene breaks, and you like the scene break is another part of the map.
Yeah, probably with like whenever I get to like the special edition or the things, like there's some really cool special editions of books out there, and I see like what writers are doing or what authors are doing, and there's some really clever things authors are doing with images. And most of the time, it's usually the images is world building. 9 times out of 10, the images are contributing to the world building of the story. Yeah, it's fascinating. Well, I feel like we've made some substantial progress today. Samantha, I hope we've been able to make like a really good push this stream for Storytellers Hearth. I feel like I've been super stoked to be able to be involved in it this time around. Do you feel like a lot of the community's been able to like make a lot of words and make a lot of progress?
Well, once again, that's not the entire point of the event, but I do feel like the community as a whole had a good time and supported each other. I think they had like a lot of fun because like I know at least one person spent the weekend working on organizing a lot of life stuff so that they can be prepared for life and then have time to write and stuff. So, but yeah, I think to my knowledge, everyone had a good time. I know quite a few people had a lot of family stuff come up this weekend, as happens. But yeah, and I do think a lot of people met their goals, whatever their goals were.
Yay! I almost met my goal for the day. So I feel.
No, sorry. Right after this is the closing ceremony, and we'll be like doing a final check-in with everyone. So then I will know for sure.
Yay! So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap up, but in actually just a few minutes, not too long. Sam, it sounds like you're going to be closing out with you and CB. So it sounds like you two are going to be closing out the ceremony. And then, if I recall correctly, you guys do a Storytellers Hearth twice a year. It's a seasonal.
The next one will be in October.
That's my birthday month.
Yay! And it looks like we definitely had some really good, some good progress down here as well. White's here. Book has gone for proofread. Congrats, my friend. I think anytime our stories and our work can get to that level, like that feels like such an achievement. So, everyone, I just want to say thank you all so much for joining. Sam, let's drop the link. I'll drop the link down in the chat. The playlist is linked down in the YouTube description. But for anybody who wants to go check out the closing ceremony for Storytellers Hearth, you absolutely should. So I'm going to drop that down there. There has been so much creativity. All right, there we go. So everyone, you should definitely go check out the closing ceremony. It'll be starting shortly, but I just want to say, everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this Relay 13. I was like, we got 45 minutes, 30 minutes, so we did about a little over an hour of some work and productivity. I'm feeling accomplished. I almost finished this chapter. Hopefully, you are as well. And so that's all I got. I'll be back tomorrow with community updates for WriteNow community, and I'll let y'all close out. Pass it over to you, Court.
Hi, I'm Courtney Harding. I write contemporary romance, and I can be found at CourtneyHarding.com.
Hey, and Nell, on to you.
Hey, just came out to hang out and I had a good time. I read 2 short stories, so I enjoyed it. Thanks for organizing this event, Sam.
And our wonderful ringleader over here, Sam.
Hi, I'll do the short version. I'm writing Mom Samantha L Nasset, and I host live streams on my channel, and I co-host or co-organize the Storytellers Hearth.
Yay. And y'all know me. I'm Kaufman. We appreciate you, my friends. And that's all that we got for you. We'll catch you in the next stream. Go check out the closing ceremony starting shortly. All right. Take care, writers. Stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers. It's time to write
now. Sorry.
Right now, not right now, but right now. Read now, right now. Is that right?
Words are wind.